place a bet on George Dixon if I were you, Jackson?
It's illegal, Henry. We're constables.
We are off-duty constables.
Even so, I'd rather enjoy the fight unfettered.
Okay, but Little Chocolate is sure to win. He's pound for pound the finest fighter there is. He's Canadian, no less. It's almost unpatriotic not to bet.
Then why don't you bet on him, Henry?
Don't have any more money on me.
What a surprise.
I gave it all to George for the detective's bachelor party.
That is not an excuse. I contributed too.
I doubt Inspector Murdoch even wants a party.
No, thank you.
I'm writing. Leave me be.
Yeah, you gotta move and stick. Robert Parker and Harry Longabout, hold it right there.
What kind of crackpot draws a pistol at a boxing match?
He wouldn't give us so much as his name until he spoke to someone of authority, sir.
Well, it's his lucky day. Inspector Thomas Brackenreed. This is my station house. Who are you?
Bat Masterson.
Bat Masterson, a lawman?
None other.
Well, lay now, Jackson.
Oh, no need to hurry. It's too late. Damn shame. I had Robert Parker and Harry Longabout dead to rights.
You're saying...
Damn right. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid are in Toronto.
Bloody hell.
He fought in the Dodge City War? Sir, he rode with Wyatt Earp in Tombstone. He's killed 26 people.
Thank you, George. I'm aware of Mr. Masterson's reputation.
He's quite the lawman.
That doesn't justify drawing a pistol in public.
Sir, by all accounts, he's also a bit of a ladies' man.
He claims he saw Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's right. They were at the George Dixon fight. Mr. Masterson was there covering it. He's a newspaper writer now. Unfortunately, Jackson and Higgins unwittingly facilitated the escape.
Murdoch, I've assured Mr. Masterson that Station House 4 will be honoured to assist in the capture of Sundance and Butch.
Sir, is that necessary?
Bat's the only one that got a good look at them. Higgins and Jackson couldn't pick them out.
Rest assured, Detective, I was a lawman myself.
Yes, you were a lawman in the United States.
Once a lawman, always a lawman, right?
I've already filed a story about Butch and Sundance with my New York paper. Little publicity might smoke them out. Now, if you'll pardon me, I would like to telephone my editor. Tom, my pistol.
Oh, yes, of course. Crabtree? The gun that tamed the West, right there. Please feel free to use my telephone back.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
Sir, he drew his pistol in public. Are you sure it's wise to give it back?
He didn't mean to fire it, Murdoch. He wants them alive.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Sir, it will be quite the feather on Station House 4's cap.
With all due respect, sir, it's widely accepted that Butch and Sundance fled to Argentina last year.
If Bat says he saw them, well, that's good enough for me.
Very well. George, see if you can find some renderings of Butch and Sundance.
Yes, sir.
George Dixon?
Yes?
Inspector Brackenreed, Detective Murdoch. We understand that you fought here last night.
Yes, but nobody was here to see me win. The whole crowd scattered when that madman pulled the gun.
Yes, Mr. Dixon. Could these two men be the ones he was aiming at?
It looks like them, but they don't go by those names.
You know them?
They were at my last fight, too. Had money on me both times, but they didn't come back to collect their winnings.
There was illegal betting on the fight.
Well, yes, but I didn't...
Tell us where we can find them and we'll look past the gambling.
Are they in trouble?
You should be more concerned with whether you're in trouble or not.
Mr. Dixon provided the names Arthur Brown and Lucas Hunt.
Well, they're hardly going to gad about town as Sundance and Butch, Murdoch. And even if they were innocent, why didn't they return for their winnings?
Mr. Masterson likely put a fright in them.
Well, let's nab the pair of them at the boarding house and get to the bottom of this.
Yes, let's.
Murdoch, your upcoming wedding has been a constant topic of conversation around the Brackenreed dining table lately.
Really?
Margaret was hoping that she might be of help planning the affair.
Oh, well, I don't really anticipate a large ceremony, but I'll be mindful of that. Thank you.
Even if you were just to put her in charge of the flowers, it might be enough to shut her up so I could eat my dinner in peace.
Right.
I can only imagine how excited you must be, Julia. Where will the ceremony be held?
I don't know yet. I suppose I've been putting off having to make that decision.
Why is that?
William would never say as much, but I know it would mean a great deal to him for us to marry in the Catholic Church.
How do you feel?
I'm not sure, but I worry that in granting him that, I may be betraying my own values.
Perhaps that's an issue I should leave to you and the detective. But I can offer to arrange a hen party, should you want one.
Perhaps not, considering how the last one we attended turned out.
This is pure ivory. She's never failed me once.
Mr. Masterson, Sundance's sweetheart, Etta Place. Do you think she's in town as well?
I'll be sure to ask when I'm staring down my gun at them. Is the inspector coming back anytime soon?
The inspector? It's hard to say, but I'm happy to keep you company in the meantime. You know, you and I are quite alike, birds of a feather, if you will.
How is that?
Well, we're both lawmen and writers.
Consider yourself a lawman, do you? How many men have you killed?
Well, I haven't killed any, per se, but I've roughed up a good many. A good many. Anyway, I'll get you a copy of my book, Curse of the Pharaohs. It's a rollicking adventure. I've set myself...
Mr. Masterson.
Yes?
Matthew Booth from the Toronto Gazette. I just read in the New York Telegraph that you and the constabulary are hot on the trail of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's right.
I'd like to do a story on you. Lawman turned sports writer chases the infamous Butch in Sundance.
Certainly. But I can't spare much time.
Is it true you were born in Canada?
Yes, Quebec, but you can keep that off the record. I am as American as they come.
You must be Dr. Ogden. I'm Father Clemens. Welcome. William's at peace in a way that I have never known him to be.
As am I. I'm very happy.
I'm pleased for this opportunity to meet you. What brings you to my church?
I know that it would mean a great deal to William for us to marry in the church, but I'm not a Catholic. I'm here to ask if there's any way that I might grant him that gift.
That gift is not yours to grant. It's the church's.
Yes, of course, I understand. Thank you for your time, Father Clemens.
I did not say that it couldn't be granted, however. William painted the picture to me of a resilient, determined woman. I'm surprised you give up so easily.
I do want this for William.
And if this is something you really want, I would like you to consider the following. Why is the belief in God important? Just think on it for a time.
Why don't you tell me your real names? You're about to be exposed for who you really are anyway.
I told you, sir. I'm Arthur Brown, and this is Lucas Hunt.
Of course you are.
On what grounds are you holding us?
Suspicion of gambling for now.
Suspicion? Everyone was betting at the fight. Why are we the only ones being held?
I think you know why. So, tell me the whereabouts of your lady friend, Etta Place.
Etta who?
It's not them.
I don't even know where that is.
Not the two men you drew down on, or not Butch and Sundance?
Neither.
Are you sure, Mr. Masterson?
I've never laid eyes on these men, and they damn sure aren't Butch and Sundance.
Don't let me catch you gambling again, boys.
Let's get on with it, gentlemen. Butch and Sundance are still on the loose.
Mr. Masterson, is it possible that you were mistaken in the first place?
I once sat across from Butch Cassidy at a card table in Hot Springs, Montana. I'll bet I am the only man in this city to say I've looked him in the eye.
And how long ago was that?
A number of years. The look of a man might change, but the eyes don't.
Well, perhaps we'll take a wait-and-see approach, Pat.
You do what you like. I'm casting my net. Just my luck.
Excuse me?
Just as the most striking woman I've seen in all of Toronto enters the station, I'm leaving.
You must be Mr. Masterson.
You recognize me from the newspapers.
No. My husband-to-be spoke of you.
Oh, well, where is the lucky man? I wouldn't allow you out of my sight. Him?
That surprises you.
Well, you're obviously a spirited woman, and the detective is...
A gentleman?
Yes. Very gentle, indeed.
Julia, thank you for coming.
What is it, William?
The inspector has brought to my attention that Mrs. Brackenreed would very much like to be involved in the planning of the wedding.
Oh, well, perhaps...
Search. Connecticut Toronto's being robbed.
They're armed.
It must be Sundance and Butch.
Let's hope it is. By reputation, they don't use their guns unless provoked.
There's only one way to find out.
What? Back! No! I'll take it back.
George, be careful. What's going on, Murdoch?
I can't tell.
They fled out the back, firing their guns as they left.
George. Sir, I'm all right. They shot into the air.
Did you get a look at them, Crabtree?
So they were galloping away by the time I got there.
I did. It was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Is it true? Was it Butch and Sundance?
I'll handle this, gentlemen. Indeed, the robbery was the work of Butch and Sundance. The manager confirmed as much, and I observed them with my own eyes yet again.
Did they shoot at you, Mr. Masterson?
Shots were fired, but true to their reputation, they weren't out to harm anyone, nor I them. Fortunately, I intervened before they got to the safe. So, you can tell the fine citizens of Toronto that Bat Masterson saved their money.
What's next, Mr. Masterson? Any leads?
Inspector, rest assured, me and the boys of Station 4 will bring them to justice. It's only a matter of time.
Inspector Brackenreed, what's it like working alongside a legendary lawman?
Now. This isn't about Bat Masterson. This is about reining in two outlaws. Now, I'll make myself available to you fine folks as needed, and I'll continue to file my updates with the New York Telegraph. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's all for today. No more questions. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I was under the impression you were coppers. Where are your guns?
We don't carry guns. North of the border, we rely on our wits.
Oh, that lot of good your wits just did us.
Your approach wasn't especially effective either.
Facts of the matter is Sundance and Butch are on the loose. Bat knows them better than we do, Murdoch. He'll take the lead.
Very well.
So where should we start, Bat?
Take me to the most reputable house of ill repute in town.
Oh.
I don't think I've seen a dance quite like it.
Reminds me of Afghanistan. Never thought I'd see it here, but I can't say that I mind.
Thank you, Nadia. Wasn't she fantastic? What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We're looking for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Have they had occasion to visit?
I don't believe so.
Oh, my goodness. I think they did. Those two from the other night.
How did you know it was them?
Well, they had such an air of danger about them.
Oh, yes, I do recall them. They were very coy.
It must have been Butch I entertained.
No, Cynthia, I believe I had Butch.
Well, I was with one of them. I can't wait to tell the other girls.
Ladies, did they mention where they were staying or what their intentions were?
Only that they plan to return. I hope they do. Such dear gentlemen.
If they do, be sure to notify us.
And despite how charming they may be, keep in mind that they're outlaws.
Of course.
Perhaps you'd care to continue this interview in private. Are you boys in a hurry?
I'm afraid we are. Oh, ladies.
Butch and Sundance in my bank.
Possibly. We won't know for certain until we apprehend the suspects.
The most famous bank robbers in history. Surely they only target the best.
The most vulnerable, I should think, Mr. Fleet.
This is no cause to boast, Mr. Fleet. You should be grateful no one was hurt.
Oh, I am. Thanks to Mr. Masterson's bravery.
Was there any indication that the robbers had been surveilling the bank?
Well, none that I'm aware of. But Butch and Sundance picked a most fortuitous day to strike.
How's that?
Well, the Grand Trunk Railway had just deposited a large sum to cover their payroll.
Sir, were you able to discern anything from the bullets dipped from the ceiling?
Only that they indeed came from the robber's gun, .45 caliber.
Sir, I was wondering if I might treat you to dinner the night after tomorrow.
Well, that's very kind, George. Thank you. But I believe I'm engaged to dine with Dr. Ogden that night.
Yes, of course. The wedding is coming up so soon, isn't it, sir?
I suppose so.
Have you decided where the two of you will live once you're married?
As a matter of fact, George, I intend to build us a house.
Ah.
But I suppose Mrs. Kitchens will have to do in the meantime.
Oh, sir, a boarding house. Would Dr. Ogden be keen on that arrangement?
I don't see why not. Mrs. Kitchen is a fine cook. Her beef stew is the best I've ever had.
That considered.
Inspector? What are you doing?
Waiting for Bat.
Where is he?
He's conducting a private interview.
Oh, right. The Bank of Toronto was flush with a recent deposit to cover the Grand Trunk Railway payroll, a very fortuitous time for the robbers to strike.
We considered the possibility it may have been the work of the bank employees, but all their alibis seem legitimate.
I must admit, the particulars of the robbery are very consistent with how Butch and Sundance operated.
Were you and Mr. Masterson able to turn up anything useful, sir?
Sir?
Yes. Good work, Murdoch.
I said, of course, but you can never touch my pistol. Aha! I will turn it over to the good inspector.
Inspector Brackenreed, that says you're narrowing in on Butch and Sundance. Is that true?
We're pursuing every avenue of investigation, gentlemen. It's only a matter of time before Mr. Masterson and myself apprehend the buggers.
Reach for the sky. Oh, dear Lord, please don't shoot!
Flower. Bloody fake. How were we to know it wasn't real?
Sure looked real to me.
What were you transporting? The payroll to Grand Trunk office in Simcoe. They got it all. Why would Sundance and Butch kill a man? What exactly happened? Harry was trying to protect the payroll. The man who called himself Sundance shot him down. Never saw a man handle a weapon like that.
We've checked everything here, sir. There's no sign of them.
What else do you need to know? I saw them. It was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, plain as day.
You said they were gentlemen outlaws. Why would they gun down an innocent man like this? Mr. Masterson.
I'll meet you back at the station house.
I have to think on this.
And what time will the criminal spot?
Are you any closer to capturing Butch and Sundance? Hey, knock it off, you lot! Back it up!
I should throw them all in jail.
Oh, I thought you were quite enjoying all the attention.
Not anymore.
Sir?
So where is he?
I don't know, sir. I've been in touch with the Telegraph. He's missed his deadline for his story. They haven't been in contact with him.
Why would he disappear now? You'd think he'd be wallowing in all of this.
Unless... What if he's going to find them himself?
He has no authority to make an arrest.
You've met the man, Murdoch. You think he gives a damn about authority? Get your hat.
Good day, gentlemen. How can I help you?
Madame Dupree, you can tell the girls this is not a social call.
What a shame, Inspector.
We're looking for Bat Masterson.
So am I. A number of the girls have inquired as to when he would be visiting again.
He hasn't been here?
No, not recently.
Do you know where in Toronto that he might be hanging his hat?
Cynthia?
Yes, Madame Dupree.
Where did you say Mr. Masterson took you?
The Alexandra Hotel. He bought me a cocktail. He was ever so kind.
Thank you.
Detective Murdoch.
Yes?
Cynthia would like you to know she is available for a private interview.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Soon to be married.
Then perhaps all the more reason.
Good day, ladies.
And have you considered what I asked of you, Dr. Ogden?
As a matter of fact, I have.
And?
Tell me about the cruelty of God.
Is God cruel?
I treat diseases of the mind, people driven into madness by no fault of their own. When I worked as a coroner, I saw the results of unspeakable violence.
Not perpetrated by God.
But permitted by God.
God does not permit anything. God grants us life. What we do with that life, that's up to you and me.
And what does it matter if I believe or not?
Because your eternal soul will never find peace unless you believe in the teachings of Christ. Christ teaches love. Christ teaches forgiveness. Christ teaches joy.
And fealty.
Yes, the church may try to teach fealty. Christ does not.
I wagered you'd be out trying to bring in Sundance and Butch on your own.
No.
Why?
Because this is my fault.
Would you care to explain that?
There is no Butch and Sundance. Not here, anyways.
But you saw them.
Oh, sure I did at the Dixon fight. But when you brought in those two men, I realized they were the men that I saw at the fight. I realized that they weren't Butch and Sundance.
You lied. Why?
There was a time when the name Bat Masterson was admired and feared and worshipped. When I wrote that story about Butch and Sundance, those days came back. I was Bat Masterson again on the trail of two outlaws. I reveled in it.
You made it up.
And now a man's dead and we've been wasting our time chasing after phantoms. Have a good mind, sir.
Sir, none of that changes the fact that there are still two criminals at large. They've shot someone and robbed a bank.
Bloody hell. Murdoch, I'll see you back at the station.
I caused you to look the wrong way in all this.
Yes, you did. And I'll wager that those two men are far from Wild West outlaws. Just two common thugs who took advantage of a situation you created. Will you help me find them? Once a lawman, always a lawman, right?
Thank you, Detective.
We are in pursuit of the felons and we'll be arresting them anytime soon.
Is Mr. Masterson helping?
Mr. Masterson's service is no longer required.
Mr. Masterson, what is going on?
Mr. Masterson, are you hot on the trail of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
I am assisting the Toronto Constabulary to the best of my abilities.
Are you going to catch them back?
I'm more than confident in Detective Murdoch and Inspector Brackenreed.
All right, that's enough.
Mr. Masterson, one more minute of your time. Mr. Masterson, please.
Please.
Let's assume that the bandits who robbed the bank are, in fact, the same two who robbed the train. They match the general description given by the bank manager, as well as the surviving guard and the engineer from the train.
They also knew the most advantageous time to strike both targets.
The bank was holding the payroll for the Grand Trunk Railway in Toronto. The train was carrying the Grand Trunk payroll to one of its subsidiaries.
Exactly, sir. Both of these robberies are linked by the Grand Trunk Railway. Now, George has cleared all the bank employees of any suspicion, but the railway employees would have had inside knowledge in both cases. George, we need to pay their officers a visit.
Sir, right behind you. It's a shame it wasn't really Butch and Sundance. That would have been really something.
Mr. Masterson?
Of course.
What is it, Crabtree?
Sir, you've yet to contribute to the detective's bachelor party.
Murdoch doesn't want a bachelor party.
Well, perhaps he'll feel differently once he's there, sir. Now, I've rented a tavern. I've asked Miss Kitchen to cook some food. Jackson hesitated and said that he'll play trumpet, but I've explained to him it's a party for the detective, not a godforsaken talent show.
Crabtree, enough.
Sir, it's a very generous contribution.
That sounds like you're talking about Ed and Hoyt O'Bannon. They quit a couple days ago.
Sounds like they came in with some money recently.
Would you consider them smart enough to rob a bank?
Doesn't take brains to rob a bank, just nerve.
I can't say they were too clever, but the O'Bannons weren't short on nerve. Often showing up to work drunk or not at all.
Any idea where we could find them?
I tried McLeod's Tavern on Queen Street. When they were on payroll, they drank most of it away down there. Hey, you're that Bat Masterson fellow, aren't you?
I am.
I like your sports stories. Reading them makes me feel like I'm there.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So if you're looking for Ed and Hoyt, I'm imagining there's no Butch and Sundance?
Would appear not.
Well, that's a damn shame.
I'm looking for Ed and Hoyt O'Bannon. Gentlemen, I'd like a word, please.
About what?
Your recent good fortune here. Perhaps you'd like to come down to the station house and explain how it came to be.
Wouldn't advise running. I don't miss.
Stick 'em up, boys.
I pulled these bullets from the ceiling of the bank. I tested them, and they were fired from your gun.
Okay. You got us on that.
You also killed a man.
Killed? Whoa, what are you talking about? We shot into the ceiling, just like you said.
I'm not talking about the bank robbery. I'm talking about the train robbery.
We didn't actually rob the train.
Yes, you did. And you shot a guard in the back and killed him.
We did no such thing. On my mother's grave, we did no such thing.
It's true that we stopped the train.
With the fake explosives.
The train came to a halt. The engineer came out. We tied him up. We left him in the cab. And then we went to the back of the train for the loot.
But two armed guards were waiting for us.
We didn't even get close to the money. They fired a warning shot over our heads and we just rode off.
You're certain that both guards were alive when you fled the scene?
Yes, sir. I'll admit, we did try to rob that train, but we did not kill anyone.
I extracted a bullet from Mr. Harry Watkins, .32 caliber.
Very impressive. Lady knows her calibers.
I pull enough of them out of bodies, I may as well learn what they are.
Different than the two I pulled out of the ceiling at the bank. Care to hazard a guess?
No need to guess, Detective. 45s, plain as day.
More than just a pretty face.
Why, Mr. Masterson, you are old enough to be my father.
Two different crimes, two different guns.
The train guard was killed with the .32. You pulled 45s out of bank ceiling.
I don't think the O'Bannons killed this man.
That's the thing about Canadian law enforcement, Mr. Masterson. Patience, diligence, and the reliance on intellect trump the quick draw of a gun every time.
Anything else, Dr. Grace?
He was killed at close range.
Oh? I'd very much like to speak to that railway guard again.
I believe the Grand Trunk Railway should reconsider their hiring practices. First the O'Bannon boys, and now...
Hiram Claxton.
Yes, exactly, sir. His employers haven't seen hide nor hair of him since the robbery.
What did you find out about Mr. Claxton?
Well, he doesn't come from the most reputable of families. Both of his brothers have done jail time. He avoided the same only by joining the Army.
The British Army wouldn't allow...
The American Army, sir. He moved to Canada 3 years ago.
Any idea where we might find him, George?
Well, his family does own a farm north of the city.
As good a place as any to look.
How far north?
About 20 miles.
You boys know how to ride?
Get up.
Place? Yes?
Don't see anyone. Doesn't mean he's not here.
Nothing.
What was that?
There's someone here.
Hiram Claxton! Show yourself! Toronto Constabulary! You're under arrest for the murder of Harry Watkins.
You might be gone, Murdoch. There was $5,000 stolen from that train. You think he came to spend it here?
Don't look up. There's someone in that hayloft. Detective, I'm gonna find a place to relieve myself.
Back! Hiram Claxton! We need to speak to you!
There's someone behind the woodshed. They mean to flank us.
Right. George, you said there were 3 Claxton brothers?
That's right, sir.
Then where's the third?
Drop your weapons. Drop them! Liam! Walter! Walter! Damn brother fell asleep up there.
Drop your gun!
Sir, he may have saved our lives.
Come back here, Buffalo!
It's all right. I managed to retrieve this. All right, sir. Provide me with cover.
Mr. Masterson! Mr. Masterson, are you all right?
Back's been better.
See if you can find another weapon, Crabtree. Crabtree!
Well, I suppose it's a good thing you changed professions. This way.
Sir! Murdoch! You all right?
Back's been better. Where's Bat?
Out of my way. You're not a lawman anymore.
At least I'm a man. More than I can say for you. Shooting your partner in the back. A man would do it face to face. You ready?
Bat, no.
I caused this. Let me settle it.
Don't be foolish, Bat.
You killed a man. I'm not the law. They are. I'm just a sports writer, but a damn good one.
Father Clements.
William.
You're asked to speak with me.
I am so pleased that you have finally found someone in this world who is, at the very least, your equal.
Julia.
You've certainly impressed Father Clements.
And I, William. He's permitted our wedding to take place in the church.
Julia, I know your convictions. You don't have to do that for me.
And now I better understand your convictions. Your faith is important to you, William. And if we're to marry, I want to marry all of you.
Here he comes, here he comes.
Congratulations, sir.
You shouldn't.
Well, I have, so let's make the best of it.
Murdoch, take a drink.
Oh, thank you, sir, but...
You're entering your final hours as a free man. Take it from me. Once you're married, you'll learn to appreciate the taste of it.
Well, maybe just one drink.
Well, if it's just going to be one, let's make it a good one.
Thank you, George. Cheers.
There we go. There we are.
Mrs. Kitchen, my goodness.
All of your favorites, even beef stew.
Oh, thank you.
I sure will miss you, Detective.
You'll miss me.
Well, certainly aren't going to bring your bride back to live in my boarding house. Who would entertain such foolishness?
Right.
I've got something for you in the locker.
A gift?
Well, open it.
Oh.
Bat Masterson's pistol. The very gun that tamed the West.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. A fine memento indeed.
I paid a pretty penny for that.
Oh, yes.
But Bat sold me the gun that tamed the West.
Looks like you've been had, George.
Well, the inspector, too, by the looks of it. Anyway, don't mention it. Best not to ruin the evening.
Thank you. What have you, George?
Sir, I had a gift for you. Jackson, I told Jackson this was not about him and his bloody trumpet. Jackson! Jackson!
Well, I suppose I'd better be going. Enjoy yourself, Detective Murdoch. Breakfast will be ready at 6, as usual.
With utmost admiration, from one lawman to another, Bat Masterson.
Have a seat, Murdoch. it.